you know? So a lot of people want to see me fail, and that ain't gonna happen. You know, it ain't gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie, I felt very relaxed. And half of that comes from preparing, studying, and knowing I got God on my side. So throughout all that, I had no worries. I didn't feel nervous or anything before the game because, you know, like he took all my worries and everything away. I would say the thing is I visualized everything during the week. The game was already played.
Breaking news straight out of Cleveland, and Shedeur Sanders is officially done playing polite. He's pushing back hard, and he's not hiding it anymore. Even after the Browns scraped out a win against the Raiders, the young quarterback came out swinging the moment the talk shifted to first-team reps. And honestly, who could blame him? How long is someone supposed to sit quiet while the coach keeps giving starter reps to everybody except the dude who's actually showing growth, calm under pressure, and real hunger to take the job? Shedeur's words show a young quarterback who already learned something most grown veterans still struggle with: tuning out the noise and standing on business. When he says people want to see him fail, you can hear the weight in his voice, like he's carrying every whisper, every doubt, every side eye thrown his way. That frustration, that spark, that quiet anger he keeps tucked behind his confidence, it's turning into fuel, into fire, into his own personal motivation to shut everybody up without even raising his voice. He's not complaining. He's giving notice. He's letting the league know that he sees the narratives, the criticism, the folks waiting on him to slip, and he's telling them all straight up, it's not happening. And the craziest part, he's calm while saying it. Too calm. Calm in a way that tells you he's been under pressure long enough that he knows how to handle it like a pro. For someone who barely gets the reps he deserves, that kind of chill says a lot about how fast he's growing. Shedeur isn't just fighting opponents, he's fighting stories, expectations, past assumptions, and all the behind-the-scenes drama that people don't even see. And still, there he stands, shoulders loose, voice steady, saying he's studied, prepared, and covered by faith. That hits different because peace like that doesn't come from a perfect situation, it comes from surviving a messy one. Imagine walking into a game knowing you didn't get the proper first-team rhythm, knowing the reps weren't set up for you, knowing the system still isn't fully tailored to you, and still staying calm, still grounded, still feeling like you're protected and built for the moment. That takes maturity way beyond his age, and the whole city can see it now. Meanwhile, Stefanski is out here acting like preparation is optional, switching quarterbacks like he's flipping through a cheap magazine, and somehow expecting everything to run smooth. So how is Shedeur staying this calm when the very coach responsible for his growth can't give him even a drop of the consistency he already earned? How do you relax when the man in charge keeps creating storm after storm for no reason?
so it's you know, it is what it is, but I'm just thankful for where I am now. You know, I don't, everybody have their differences, but I still got an opportunity to play, so why can't I be mad? You know, money different, but thankfully I have a good family, you know, so it is what it is. We're not playing for that, we're playing for the love of the game. So I'm just thankful to be out here, have an opportunity, be able to go and play. Go out there and play, go out there and start. Like, you don't know how surreal, you know, that feeling is, knowing that you have the responsibility of the Browns organization on your shoulders, you know. Having all the fans, you know, everybody in here arguing with each other online and everything.
Maybe Shedeur's peace doesn't come from trusting Stefanski. Maybe it's him finding confidence in spite of Stefanski. And that's the part nobody wants to talk about. When he says he already visualized the game before it even happened, that should make Stefanski feel uneasy because it shows Shedeur is doing extra work on his own, work he shouldn't have to do alone. If the game was already played in his mind, why isn't his coach giving him the real reps that match the grind he's putting in? Why does a young quarterback have to lean on visualization just to make up for first-team reps he never gets? Why does Shedeur believe in the process more than the guy running the whole operation? That says everything without him needing to raise his voice. Shedeur isn't just preparing. He's carrying himself like someone who knows he's built for something bigger, even if his own coach refuses to see it standing right in front of him. And honestly, how long until that tension blows up for real? How long before everyone starts questioning whether Stefanski is holding back the very player who's showing he's ready to take over this locker room? Shedeur's words sound like someone who got humbled during the draft, but never broken by it. Being skipped that many times isn't something you just shrug off. That's the league telling you to your face they don't believe in you, that you're not their choice, that your name doesn't carry the weight they expect. And yet he walked through all that and still came out standing tall. And yet here he is, standing on that NFL field like he always belonged there, playing with heart, talking with grown man maturity, carrying himself like someone who should have been picked way higher than he was. The league straight up misjudged him, looking at all the wrong details and listening to people who clearly didn't understand what kind of fire he had inside. They let a quarterback with real hunger and real discipline slide right past him, and now everybody has to watch him rise in real time while knowing they messed up big. Those teams have to sit back and watch him grow on national TV, knowing they skipped him again and again. That's not just a mistake, that's a system malfunction. How does a player with this much composure, gratitude, leadership, and determination fall all the way to the 5th round? How do decision makers miss a mindset like his? The league should feel embarrassed for letting him slip while other players with half the drive and none of the humility got picked before him. And the wild thing, the Browns aren't off the hook either. Even after they got him, they acted like he wasn't ready, like he needed to wait his turn, while quarterbacks with less focus kept struggling on the field. They held him back, they delayed his opportunity, and it cost them games they should have won. You can hear it every time he speaks. He's thankful. He loves the sport, he respects the moment, but he also understands what it means to carry a whole franchise on his shoulders. And he's doing it right now. So why didn't Cleveland trust him earlier? Why did they spend weeks running in circles with players who didn't have the same preparation, the same calm under pressure, the same heart for the game? How many wins slipped away because they waited too long to give him the keys? How many times did they pick experience or comfort over raw talent that was right in front of them? It took injuries, pressure, and chaos for the Browns to finally realize what they had: a leader ready to take over the second he stepped on the field. And that delay might end up being the difference between a season they remember and a season they regret forever. Shedeur was never the issue. The real question is why it took Cleveland this long to finally see what was right in front of them. Shedeur's mindset shows a young quarterback who understands something his own coaching staff still hasn't figured out. Greatness isn't about having everything perfect. It's about rising even when nothing is perfect. He's leaning on faith, on family support, on his own inner strength, just to stay steady in a situation where the preparation he should have been getting was never handed to him. Instead of complaining, he turns it into self-accountability, carrying himself like someone who knows the world won't feel sorry for him, so he refuses to feel sorry for himself either. And honestly, that level of maturity is rare. Most rookies would crack under that kind of pressure, especially when reps, rhythm, trust, timing, all the things a young quarterback needs were held back from him. Yet even after being thrown out there without a real summer blueprint, he still walks onto that field with calm, focus, and emotional control like he's been here before. That's not luck. That's someone built different. And this is where the Stefanski part hits harder than anyone wants to admit, because Shedeur's words reveal what the coach won't say out loud. The kid didn't get the reps. He didn't get the system tailored to him. He didn't get the early investment every developing quarterback deserves. And instead of Stefanski taking responsibility for that, it's Shedeur who carries the weight and still delivers. That's not coaching excellence. That's a quarterback saving the coach from his own choices. How does Stefanski watch this young man step up with barely a week of real prep and still pretend the quarterback competition was ever close? How does a coach justify holding him back all summer and then expect him to magically be ready the moment everything collapses? Shedeur isn't out here making excuses, but let's keep it real. Stefanski is the excuse. And the more Shedeur steps up with calm leadership and steady energy, the clearer it becomes who's actually dragging the Browns forward and who's slowing everything down. Shedeur is showing a level of emotional growth you rarely see from young players, especially ones thrown into this kind of chaos with zero warning. What he's describing is a shift, not just as an athlete, but as a person, as a man growing through pressure most people never talk about, when everything around him felt unstable, when the past 6 months pushed him into places he never expected. He had to pull strength from somewhere deeper than just football. That kind of faith doesn't pop up out of thin air. It comes from being tested, from feeling like you're standing alone sometimes, from understanding that no one can fix your situation except something bigger than you. You can hear in his voice that he's not just learning how to play quarterback. He's learning how to survive confusion, pressure, heavy expectations, and all the noise swirling around him. And because of that, he's calmer now, steadier, more grounded than people expected. He knows what he can control and what he needs to let go of.
The only way I'm able to even get through everything, being able to see my family, that was important, and I'm happy they was here to be able to witness it. But without God, nothing possible, honestly. And I mean that truly and dearly. And everybody starts different places. And like I say, just because I didn't get the summer reps, just because I wasn't in a...
Tell it like it is. Tell it like it is. Nope, he ain't get them.
For me to be prepared to go out there and execute, like from a summer standpoint, that's how life is. Everybody's not in the right... everybody's not in the best situation, but it's no excuse. You got to go out there and perform.
He learned how to breathe through the storms instead of fighting against every single wave. That's real growth, the kind of growth people completely overlook when all they care about is stats and highlight clips. They miss the part where he's growing as a leader, not just as a player. And what makes it even stronger is the way he talks about doing his part, grinding, studying, staying locked in, and then letting the rest fall where it falls. That's maturity most veterans are still trying to chase, let alone master. He stayed disciplined even when the situation around him wasn't stable or fair, and instead of letting the pressure crush him, he flipped it into his own version of peace. That's exactly why he wasn't stressed walking into that game. Not because anything was easy, but because he finally learned how to carry real responsibility without letting it crush him. What he's describing is a deeper understanding of himself, a young player turning into a grown man right in front of the entire league, and whether people like him or not, that kind of inner strength is the reason he's going to last in this business. He's calling out how simple it is for fans, analysts, and even coaches to sit comfortably on the sideline and act like they know everything. Meanwhile, he had to learn the hard way, thrown into a rough situation against one of the toughest defenses out there. That moment didn't just test him, it forced him to grow way faster than anyone expected, and it exposed how unprepared the coaching staff kept him by limiting his reps and treating him like some long-term project instead of someone who needed real in-game experience right away. And yet, instead of folding under all that chaos, he adjusted on the fly. He learned in real time what they refused to give him in practice, and that's the part people should be talking about. A rookie got tossed into a storm with barely any first-team rhythm, while veteran quarterbacks across the league get years to sit, learn, and adjust before anyone throws them into the fire. Meanwhile, Shedeur had to make sense of everything instantly. Full speed, real hits, real opponents, real pressure, and somehow he still turned it into growth. That says way more about his grit than anything the staff in Cleveland has done to help him. It also exposes how little outsiders really understand when they judge him. They didn't feel the pressure he had to carry. They didn't deal with the lack of preparation he faced. They didn't face the confusion, the speed, the weight of the moment. He did, and he still came out stronger. And here's the wildest part. The more pressure they throw at Shedeur, the sharper he gets, almost like the chaos is shaping him into something even stronger. Every snap he takes without proper preparation, every drive where he has to improvise on the fly, it all becomes proof that he's operating on instincts most players don't develop this early in their careers. And he's doing it with calmness that doesn't even look normal for a rookie quarterback. While the whole world keeps debating whether he's ready, he's out there proving he's been ready. The situation around him just wasn't. And instead of waiting for Cleveland to figure it out, He's forcing the conversation to shift all by himself. That's the kind of presence coaches dream about, and somehow the Browns didn't see it until they had no other choice. What's really crazy is how much he had to clean up on the field. He wasn't just trying to run an offense, he was trying to steady a whole team that had no rhythm, no direction, and no real identity before he took the reins. You could see it in the huddle. The energy changed when he stepped in. Players who looked unsure started to lock in. The offense that kept stalling suddenly found someone who brought belief back into the room. That doesn't happen because of luck. That happens because players feel who's real and who's not. And Shedeur walks like someone built for big moments.
That's where all those core different things of being able to relate, being able to understand. But now, since I went through everything the past 6 months, it led me to a whole different understanding, you know, and it led me in my own experience with God, with having faith, you know, when nobody else can help you in your situation, you know, but God, you know. So that's why I'm truly thankful and I'm truly happy. And this is the first time I've never had stress, you know. I did the work. I did everything I can in my power I was able to do.
Half the league wishes their rookie could handle pressure like this, and the other half wishes they drafted him in the first place. But this also reveals something uncomfortable about Cleveland's coaching staff. They needed him way more than they realized. He's the one stabilizing the chaos they created. He's the one lifting the offense they couldn't fix. He's the one giving the team a pulse again. And the more he grows, the louder the question gets. If he can do all this with limited preparation, imagine what he would have done if they believed in him from day one. And now the whole league is paying attention because the moment Shedeur touched that field, everything about Cleveland's identity shifted, whether the coaching staff wanted it to or not. You can feel it in how players move, how they communicate, how they trust the play even when things look messy. That's what happens when a real leader walks in and refuses to shrink under pressure. The Browns didn't just find a quarterback, they stumbled into a spark they didn't even realize they needed. And the funny thing is, Shedeur shouldn't even have to be this steady right now. He should have been developing with structure, reps, and real support, but instead, he had to build himself from scratch out of chaos, and somehow that ended up making him tougher, smarter, and calmer than anybody expected. What really blows people away is how he handles the setbacks, not with frustration, but with this quiet confidence that feels almost unshakable. Most young quarterbacks panic when the pocket collapses or the game plan breaks, but Shedeur treats it like another day of work. It's like nothing shocks him anymore because he's already been through more confusion than most quarterbacks face in their first 2 seasons. You can see it in the way teammates respond to him. They don't just look at him, they lean on him. They follow his voice in the huddle, they trust his reads, and they walk off the field knowing he gave them a real chance to win every single drive. When a rookie gives a whole team that kind of stability, people notice fast. And now the spotlight is shifting from can he do it to how far can he go? Because the more he proves himself, the more it exposes the mistakes made before he got his shot. Cleveland spent weeks hesitating, overthinking, and trying to force a plan that clearly wasn't working, when the answer was standing right there the whole time. Every throw he makes now carries a message. He's not here to fill a spot, he's here to claim it. And as the season unfolds, people are finally realizing something Cleveland should have figured out months ago. Shedeur Sanders isn't just surviving the moment, he's taking it over. And they didn't have to stabilize a situation he didn't create, but Shedeur still walked out of it stronger, sharper, and more confident than anyone expected. That's not luck, that's not system magic. And it's definitely not coaching brilliance. That's a rookie quarterback doing the work the organization should have been giving him from day one. He exposed the pressure, the growth, and the fire behind his rise, proving he's ready for the role in a way you can't deny anymore. Everyone tried to doubt him, tried to overlook him, tried to act like he wasn't built for this moment, and now look where we are. After that Browns win against the Raiders, it's clear his voice, his presence, and his calm energy are shaping this team more than anybody expected. He's not just fitting into the offense, he's lifting it, guiding it, and giving it a heartbeat again. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. It helps keep everything growing on this channel. And tell me, What do you think now that you've seen Shedeur step up again in the Raiders' win? Do you think he's earned the right to take full control of this offense moving forward?